I just got off work, and then I had a day off the next day, and it was in the evening. We just finished our dinner, and I was taking a cup of coffee into the living room to turn on the TV and watch the news, and the thing struck. The earthquake hit, and we grabbed our two little kids. At that time, we just had two little kids, one about 3 years old and one just a year old, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we ran out of the house, and then by that time the earthquake was so violent that we couldn't go anyplace. We did get out of the house and down and below it, and on a little tiny flat lawn we had out front. But then we couldn't go any farther. We couldn't even stand up for a while, hanging on to each other and hanging on to the kids. And we watched the ground along the mountainside there. It was just heaving like the waves on the ocean, like 2 or 3 foot waves.
Mm-hmm.
It was scary, and like I say, we couldn't stand up on our own. We had to hang on to something. And then we were afraid the house would come down on top of us because we were directly in front of it and below it. And then it was so violent, we thought maybe the side of the mountain would slide down, some, the overburdened rocks and stuff. But it didn't. Apparently it was just dry enough to hold in place. The day had been a fairly nice day. It was partly cloudy, but we had some sun that day. It was pleasant, calm. And it was in March, late March, 27th. Happened to be Good Friday. And 5:36 in the evening, I think it was, the thing hit, earthquake. The first one. The big one.
The big one. So were there several after that, or?
Yes, there were. There were at least 2 fairly big ones later in the night. And I don't remember the times of those, but it seems to me that a couple of hours after the first one, we had another pretty violent one. And then somewhat later that night, maybe 5, 6, 7 hours later, early the next morning or something, we had another one. But they were nothing like the first one. The first one at the time, or soon after, they reported it was a 8.3 on the Richter scale on a scale of 10. But then they later revised that when they started getting reports in from all over the south central part of Alaska to an 8.6. And then recently, just within the last year or two, a couple of years, I read scientific reports on how they have revised that again. And now they call it a 9.2.
Wow.
Which is extremely violent. The most violent one ever to hit North America, apparently. It's ever been recorded, anyway.